For over 100 years, the story has been written, ever changing and growing with each new chapter. The soul remains, though the characters change. Bigger, faster, stronger, smarter.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
So too grows our fandom. Start miles ahead. The 2020 Prospect Encyclopedia. September. Available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and Blitzalytics.com.
Welcome to the Sports Arena, your front row ticket to the best in sports talk and entertainment. Great analysis, top-name guests, and news you can use from the sports landscape. So, take your seats, sit back, and relax, as you are now in the Sports Arena.
You know what you're capable of. Fix it.
And here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Wins. I'm like, all right, let's go. We get losses. I'm like, I need a minute. Let me collect myself. Technical difficulties, as you can see from your man who is up way too early, but that's okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. And as I do to start most of my shows, let me say this. We still need justice for Breonna Taylor. We need justice for Elijah McClain. And we need justice for Vanessa Guillen. So let's get down to business. You know, they always say that one part of being in this world is networking, staying connected to those people, whether you've met them once or you've known them pretty much your entire life. So really quick backstory. About probably 3 years ago, at the Sports Management Worldwide SMWW conference with the Lashbrooks, I had the pleasure of meeting this young woman. And you know how you're kind of captivated towards people? Like, you know, you're meant to know them and be a part of their life for a reason. They're supposed to be a part of your life. Let me just say this. The young lady who I'm about to bring on here today is someone that the world is going to know sooner rather than later. Let me just give you a little background about Miss Tonee Johnson, okay? First off, she's a 3-time Pro Bowler in women's professional football. She's played in 4 different leagues from 2001 until 2011, where she won a championship. After she retired from being on the field, she became the general manager of the Baltimore Burn from 2011 to 2015. Her accomplishments, first off, she became a senior advisor of football operations. While she was in the front office, she spearheaded and collaborated the only merger in women's football history of 2 historical professional women's football teams. This woman has come from humble beginnings. And the biggest thing about her is she never stops moving. This woman is right now working with the Washington football team. She is learning to be a scout. She's learning the ins and outs of being a general manager, pulling from her past experiences. And this is all while surviving cancer. If that, ladies and gentlemen, does not give you a reason to get up every morning, get out of bed, and thank God to be alive, I don't know what does. But aside from that, let me get her on here so she can tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Tone Johnson to the Sports Arena. Tone, good morning. Thank you so much for being on the show. It is an honor to have you on here with me today.
Man, thank you, Eric. I appreciate this, and thank you for having me on the Sports Arena. I'm excited. Thank you.
So you and I, we reconnected a couple months ago. I'm sure COVID has hit a lot of people. It's hit all of us. But I just want my listeners and my followers to know, over the last 3 years, your journey off the football has taken you so many places. Like people like me still trying to make it in this industry, like you have just surpassed me. But I got to ask you, can you talk about some of the relationships that you have formed and have forged and how they came about?
Well, yeah. When I started, it was 2016, and I was diagnosed with stage 1 uterine cancer. Now, also in 2016, my brother Rodney Johnson and my father Peter Johnson, they also passed away. So September of 2016 was very, very difficult. My brother passed away in September. I was diagnosed in August, and my father passed away prior after that. So it was in a 3-month time frame. I had to plan 2 funerals. I was diagnosed with cancer, and I joined Sports Management Worldwide, which is the best sports school that I could have ever imagined. And it opened many doors, and I've networked so much through them. It's incredible. I'm very humble. I'm very humble with where God has brought me from, and He is still doing things for me as we speak. The connections I've made, usually it was through LinkedIn, and I was surprised that certain individuals actually contacted you back. and I made connections with Richard Doc Walker, Brian Mitchell, and Robert Dorr. He's the executive director for guest services, who I work for the Washington team right now. He was actually the first. Robert Dorr was the first person I linked in with. I'm like, wow, people actually hit you back. And I didn't know that in 2019 I would be working for him. I'm like, hello, sir, how you doing? He's like, Tone? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, you're here. He's like, great. And we connected on that level. It was fun. It was fun. I've also made connections as far as with women that are doing great things in sports right now. Dynamic things, we have Jen Welter. We have so many. It's just overwhelming, the people that I've met and the people that I'm still connected to. I can't forget. Oh man, Mickey Grace. She's a scout for the LA Rams. I just spoke to her recently, and I want to thank her for introducing me to the Women's Forum, the Women's Forum that it bridges the gap from not having the connections that you need to move and network and get to the right people and showcase what you have in your experiences.
And that's been a huge thing. Go ahead.
There's a plethora of people. I mean, Catherine Smith, Lori Locust, and she's down there with Tampa Bay right now. You got Jennifer King. She just became the first Black African-American female coach for the Washington team. We just talked recently. And, I'm just excited. I can't wait to be a part of this Women's Forum. And I'm very gracious to see what comes out of this and moving forward.
That's awesome, and that's what speaks to someone who has that hustle and that drive and that grind to really, when you want something and you want to go after it, nothing stands in your way. Every obstacle that's placed in your way, you just are like, listen, I'm either going around you or I'm going straight through you. Now I know you had a nickname
Yeah,
when you was on
saying
the
about
field.
that.
Sure. Go ahead. What you saying?
Well, the saying is, I don't believe in obstacles because I've run through them, or either I don't see them at all. I run through them like a tank and over them. I don't have time. Like, I don't see you. And if there is an obstacle, I attack it like a shark. I attack. I don't see anybody in front of me and no barriers that can stop me from doing anything I want to do in my life. And that's what I tell the kids that I mentor. There is nothing you can't do in this life. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. Just do it. Don't broadcast it. Don't talk about it too much. I'm a doer. So I teach my kids to be doers and let your work show for you.
Yeah. And again, and that's huge. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the nickname you were given while you were on the field playing. You were referred to as the female Warren Sapp when it came to being on defense and playing in the leagues that you played in from 01 to 11. And that's no small thing, because, we see a lot of these women's leagues out there who are not getting the recognition that they truly deserve. Like, I have friends, who I know personally, along with you, who have played in the league, have played in these different female football leagues. And I'm just like, we need more exposure. We need these women to be recognized for the true talents that they are. So I'm glad I have the opportunity to connect and to talk to you and just to have this conversation with you. But I have to ask you as well, you talked about Sports Management Worldwide. And again, a big thank you to the Lashbrooks for putting this event on each and every year in Indianapolis, because it's huge and
Yes.
it gave us the opportunity to connect. But how has taking classes with SMWW, how has that prepared you for the next chapter in your journey?
Well, like I said, I was going through chemo and radiation, and I pretty much decided after I left women's football that I wanted to see further in sports. So I was online. I looked up. I was like, SMWW. So I saw that they had a plethora of classes that I could choose from, and the first one I chose was GM and scouting. And I'm thankful for the people that I've met. Mark Dominic was one of the teachers of the course, and he was the former general manager of the Buccaneers. So for having people that are that high up and prestigious like that to grade your scouting reports, it was a learning experience. I absorbed everything I possibly could, even though going through chemo and radiation at the time, it will give you brain fog, and the level of concentration you have to push through that was, that's all I had. God, football. That's it. And I just worked my way through it. God, football, and family, man. And then, so Mark Dominic, and we also had weekly meetings during that time with Dr. Lynn Lashbrook. We'll have like a question forum if we had any questions as far as the course, or either just sports questions in general. And John Wooten also would join in on those conversations and stuff like that. And him and I connected pretty well. And he remembers talking to my mom and saying hello to my mom and saying that she's a trooper for being there for me during my process and overcoming cancer and still pushing through school. And I graduated top of that class. And then later on, I took a second course, which was now I'm going through radiation now, right? It's a next phase, radiation. Yeah. Now I started taking the Exos digital Exos course, which teaches you how to utilize the systems that they use in sports to chop up and edit game film and stuff like that. And my teacher, Mike Stolber, he's the systems director for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which in turn ended up being my first internship in 2019. I asked him personally during class was over. Again, I was top of my class there, and it's always good when you have the fellas asking you for help for homework and stuff. So I'm like, I guess I know what I'm doing a little bit. But yeah, so Mike Stolber, oh man, I love him, man. When he brought me up there, I have a funny story about that one. I'm up in the nosebleeds in the video. I mean, oh man, it was high up, but I'm getting over my nerves of heights. But we was getting to all 22, right? And the field goal shot, and it was halftime, and I'm in there with all the fellas, the only African American female up there. I'm kicking it with them, and it's halftime, and and they say they look down the line at me, and Mike says, "Yeah, I need you to edit the the last quarter for me before halftime, before we start the the third quarter." I'm like, "What? I haven't touched anything since last fall with you in class." He said, "Trust me, it's preseason. We're going against the Ravens. We need to get this done." And I sat there. I did it. I was messing up at first because I was nervous. It was just the nerves. But once I got on his laptop, boop, 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 done. And he was like, "Good." And the guys looked at me. He was like, "Okay, all right, she's got it. She's got it down there." And that was a defining moment for me. I was like, "Wow!" I like the guys welcomed me in then, and I was like, "Yes!" I was so excited.
Exactly, because you know what, you had earned your place within that tight knit group, and the fact that you could come in and not only be who you are, but show that you weren't just someone who was there just because. You actually knew what you were talking about. You actually knew what you had going on, and then you could produce. Please, that speaks volumes right there. And like you said, being the only, Black woman up there in this boys' world, which is what it is. I'm gonna call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just so nice to see women just continually proving their worth and saying, "Listen, I'm on the same level as y'all. And if you mess with me, I'm gonna be the dude I'm gonna be the woman that takes over because I know what I got to do. I know what I got to prove." So that speaks huge. You know what? Let's take a real quick break. When we come back, more with my girl Tone Johnson here on the Sports Arena. We'll be back in just a moment. Everybody, stay tuned.
Wait till you guys eat this.
Wow!
Give me some of that. That's what I'm
What's going on, your body? Man, Eric Wilson back here on the Sports Center with my guest today, Miss Tone Johnson. Hey, I'm telling you, people, pay attention to this woman because she's on the rise to do big things. I'm just saying it right now. I know it just from meeting her several years ago and us staying connected and everything that she's got going on. So you did talk about arguably one of your proudest moments, if you will, the fact that you were you were conquering your fear of heights. you were asked to do something that had not been done that you had not been kind of immersed with in over, let's just say 9-10 months, and then you were able to do it in the time frame allotted. Talk to me about some of your other proudest moments that you have been through that you have.
Well, just last season, 2019, I was asked to help give out turkeys for the holiday season, and I got a chance to meet Miss Snyder and Miss Williams, Doug Williams' wife. And I'm just giving out turkeys and talking to the kids and stuff like that. It was just a real warm and family oriented like atmosphere. And I have to say that I didn't realize I was standing right next to Miss Williams at the time, and it's just a proud moment for her to say, "I remember you." And I'm like, "How do you remember me?" I'm in guest services, working my way up in the ranks and stuff. I was like, "How do you remember me?" She's like, "Yeah, you were the one asking all the questions at the Night Out with the Scouts event at Roof Chris in Crystal City, Virginia." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do remember. I paid my way in and I was with all the other fans, but I was the only one with a notepad and book and pen to ask all the questions." There's Doug Williams was on the panel and they was asking, I was asking all the questions, and I'm like, well, maybe I should give someone else a turn as to why did they draft this kid, and was his injuries a concern for them at the time when they were thinking about it, and I didn't know she was even there. And then like totally like months later, giving out turkey, she was like, "I remember you." And that was a defining moment. Like I must be making a lasting impression on people that I've not even realized that are watching me. And I try to live my life as humble as possible and a blessing to those around me and stuff like that. And just let my work prove who I am, and for her to remember me, that was a memorable moment. That was a memorable moment. And I do want to say hello to her. How you doing, Miss Williams? It was a pleasure meeting with her and working with her and Miss Snyder at the time.
Yeah.
And let's to my relationships though. I do want to tell you, Richard Doc Walker on the Team 980. I linked in with him, and he forwarded me to Brian Mitchell, and he gave me some advice. He said you should reach out to Doug Williams, and I sent my portfolio, my scouting reports from Sports Management Worldwide, and my bio and stuff like that. So I've been circulating. I know I'm on their desk and stuff like that, but I know it's a lot to networking and stuff like that, and especially when you're busy and you're talking to these executives and stuff. I'm patient. Trust me, I've known nothing but patience. Being though I've had a nice journey so far with everything that I've gone through.
Oh yeah, and that's huge, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes. You just have to, as I have learned, you have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's kind of been my thing when I've
exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, we're talking about the Washington football team. You're talking about your time there. Can we get into this team for a minute? I got to ask you because you like me, you a football fan. Let me ask you right now, what are your thoughts on the team so far, a quarter of the way of the season gone? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, I want to commend Coach Rivera right now for going through chemo treatments and having so much on his plate right now to be the head coach of this rebuild, I would say, of this team, and it's going in the right direction. Today, I just was informed via the news with Ian Rappaport, and it's like he benched Haskins. Not just benched him, but put him inactive. And some people might think that he's not, I guess, mentally, aware of what he's doing, or he's moving too fast or anything like that. I believe this is just a scare tactic. That's what I honestly believe. See, because with young people, you have to like break them down and build them back up. You have to scare them into greatness. That's what I believe. And he's an awesome coach. And because of the level of concentration that he has to have going through chemo, I'm sure he's well aware of what his decisions are. And I'm okay with that. And a lot of people aren't. But I believe this team will do well. I believe this team will do well, and I can't wait to see what the outcome would be. I know it's what, week 5, and everybody think it's like too soon for Haskins to be sat down. And someone said, I'm not sure what announcer that was, that like he didn't just get sat down inactive. He got inactive behind someone with, a major injury like Alex Smith. So it's like the guy has one leg and he's behind him. And they thought that was an insult to the young man. I'm like, if he can bounce back mentally from that, that's what Rivera, I believe, is steering him towards. Like, you can come back, but I'm gonna sit you down so you can reflect. So I believe they're going to be okay. I believe they're going to be okay. And hopefully Chase Young gets back out there. And he's young. He's going to bounce back. It's a groin injury. I'm sure he's going to be fine. And I can't wait. To see what midseason. This is pre-midseason, so I can't wait till midseason. I know we got the Rams coming up and stuff like that, but I know Rivera has something up his sleeve, so no one should doubt him right now.
And I don't think anyone is. I really don't. I think I didn't look at it from that angle, so thank you for that. When I saw it, I was like, listen, I'll be very honest with you. I was never really a big fan of Dwayne Haskins. And my brother, Alex Fleming, he always gets on me. He's like, you never gave this young man a chance. You never gave him a chance. He only played 6 games. I'm like, Alex, you and I have been watching football for a long time. And the one position that we focus on more than any other position is the quarterback position. We look at it, we study it, we analyze it more than we do running backs, wide receivers, or even offensive or defensive lines. Why? Because we know that's the leader on the field. You have to right the ship. You have to be the guy that at any given time, your team gonna come to you and say, go get it done. And I just didn't see it with Haskins. But I can say that about a lot of quarterbacks who have come through that I have been wrong about, but I just felt like with him, I just don't know. There's something about him. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is the mental aspect. And like you said, maybe Rivera is just trying to scare this brother straight to say, listen, I know what you're capable of. I need you to recognize what you're capable of and then go out there and do it. So we shall see. But I agree with you. Ron Rivera always has something up his sleeve. Him and Del Rio, the two of them together, I like their combination together as coaches. I am excited for Washington, just except when you play Philadelphia. That's my only thing. When you play Philadelphia, you got to lose. Other than that, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm a support y'all.
Yeah.
But
it's strange. It's strange how like there's a couple of teams now. I mean, a few teams that there's a lot of 1-3s and 2 teams. I mean, this whole year, with the pandemic and everything, it's up in the air. No one can really say what postseason is going to look like, and no one's going to know what to say if who's going to be on the field at the time. I mean,
right.
I hope that Cam Newton, bounces back and he's doing well, and I mean, because he looks like he's just fresh out of college. He's in shape. He looks good. I mean, he's making moves in the pocket. He's like scrambling outside. He's like throwing downfield. He's focused. His focus has never been at this height since when he first got in the league. And I'm like, okay, all right. So he's back at it. And then now he's fallen ill, but I'm sure he'll be fine. But I mean, it's just so much is going on right now. Everybody needs to just, focus on the positives. So when you focus on the negatives, negative things continue to happen. Just keep positive and keep on. And I'm just thank God football's back. Period.
Amen.
Period.
Amen to that one.
Just a little sprinkle of it is great for me.
Exactly. So let me ask you about Russell Wilson. What are your thoughts on him this season?
Oh man, I got a story about that one. That my brothers and my cousins, all the guys in my life, I was telling them this is how I knew I should be a scout because I knew this guy was great. I'm like, have you guys seen this kid from West Virginia at the combine. I never even paid attention to them, you know what I'm saying, to that college. And then they was like, oh, nah, he's too short and stuff like that or whatever. What did he do? Come into the league, first year in, Super Bowl. And they turned and looked at me like, how did you know that? And I'm like, because I could see his mechanics, his drive, his focus. I mean, his accuracy, his arm strength. You know, I saw all of that and never paid attention to the guy. Just only in the combine. That's the only time I ever seen Russell Wilson at that time. And look what he did. And they were like, wow, you should really do more in football. And that's how I started off. And I'm like, yeah, Russell, man, he's amazing. He's amazing. Yeah. What's the quarterback for Arizona?
Oh,
Kyler Murray.
Oh, Kyler Murray. Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Second coming. Oh my goodness. He's I used to hate playing against little short quarterbacks like that. just to piss me off. I'm like, but I was so quick. I can go hash mark to hash mark with you. You know, it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? But you know, and I'm like, well, you know, that he's gonna go far. He's gonna go far. He's chasing Russell right now. So I know where his focus is.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know what? The thing about Kyler is his first year, I was watching him and I was like, okay, there was a few pieces, in my opinion, that were missing. And I was like, man, I don't know. But then the minute they got DeAndre Hopkins, I was like, oh, it's done. Second coming,
yeah.
Yes, that's it.
That was it. All he needed was a go-to.
That's it. And now he got one.
All he needed was a go-to. And that's it. Now, you know, I mean, he's so fast. He's elusive. He's very elusive. Yes. And I'm like, I can see a lot of Russell in him. Yeah.
So Tony, I gotta ask you.
What was you saying?
I gotta ask you, what's 2021 look like for you? Let the people know, what does 2021 look like for Miss Tone Johnson?
Well, 2021 looks very, very hopeful. Very hopeful. Okay. I can't wait to see where it leads. You know, I just go wherever God tells me to go, and I do what He tells me to do. And whatever doors open up for me, I'm on it. As a matter of fact, just before COVID, a week before COVID hit, I was working with a young man named David Payne of the BC Lions in the CFL. He asked me to come out and assist him in one of their tryouts in Baltimore. And that was my first little, I guess, freestyle interview to see, you know, he just wanted to fill me out and he wanted to bring me on so I can gain more experience in scouting and stuff like that. I'm like, great. He said he had previously reached out to Jennifer King, but then the Redskins at the time at the Washington team hit her to come in as a coach. So I was the next one up. He's like, I couldn't get her, but would you like to come out and help me scout some of these players? And I'm going to talk to my office and see if they're willing to bring on the first female scout in the CFL. I'm like, wow. I'm like, yeah, of course. I was ready. I went out there. He had half the field. I had the other half of the field. He said, just freestyle. And I did that. I took the D-backs, the receivers and stuff like that on that side. He was more focused on the linemen on his side. And by the end of the day, we compared notes, and everybody he had listed on his list matched mine. He said, yeah, wow, you're the truth. And that's when I knew. I was like, yeah, I'm going to continue pursuing my dreams.
That's what's up right there. That's huge. The fact that you can go somewhere and you know, be thrown into a situation, but then at the end of the day, you matching up right there down the riddle with someone who's been in the job and has that experience. That just speaks to, like I said, that just speaks to who you are and the importance of people knowing you now. Because I'm telling you, it's gonna blow up. And I'm so thankful and I'm so happy that we stayed connected. And listen, before I let you go, anything else you want to talk about, or more importantly, anybody that you want to recognize who has helped you along your journey, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. I definitely want to say thank you to Santana Dak. She's doing great things in football right now. And Lori Lucas and Mickey Grace, thank you so much for encouraging me to continue, because there was a moment where I was like, oh man. And she gave me a call out the blue. It was raining. It was pouring down raining that day here in Maryland. And she was like, nah, it's not over for you. And I was like, thank you. Like, yeah, I'm going to introduce you to the women's forum. And I was like, well, I couldn't do nothing but cry, man, right there in that car. And I want to thank Jen Welter. She was the first coach, female. I'm sure you're familiar with her, female coach for the Arizona Cardinals under Bruce Arians. I want to thank her for all her encouragement and stuff like that. And Sarah Thomas, I just spoke with her, the first female official for the NFL. And you know, I'm grateful for the women that are here in the sport. I also want to mention my boss, Shantae Towns. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work within guest services, and Zandra, the HR in the HR department, and Robert Dorr. And I was learning the franchise from the ground up. And you know, I'm a very personable person. They liked my energy and how I made fans that I wouldn't normally be friends with, like I was gonna say the Cowboys or the Eagles. I made friends at that gate, and I'm up in the higher levels and in the executive clubhouse and stuff like that. And I had managers fighting to have me on their team at one point. And I'm like, okay, I'm a floater. I can go anywhere you guys need me, And I'm just grateful for that. I thank my family for supporting me, and my brother and my father for being my guardian angels. My church, ICOG, Interdenominational Church of God in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and my home church, my birth church, 10th Street Baptist Church, Northwest DC. My sister Deanna Plummer and Mike Stolber for teaching me XOs to amplify my scouting reports. Dr. Lynn Lashbrook, thank you, sir, for having this school that people can go and hone in on their experiences and their talents and stuff like that. And everybody at MEX, at the Sports Bar MEX, you know who you are. And David Payne for giving me that opportunity to come out and scout with them. And I'm just looking forward. My main goal is to work as an apprentice or an assistant scout for any NFL team. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because wherever I go, you're going to get 100%. I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm not going to let anybody waste your time.
That's what's up.
And it's just straight up like that. And I'm going to give you the honest, hard knock truth about this player, and we're going to see if he's even viable, to even join the ranks of that franchise, But I'm gonna do exactly what I know I'm capable of doing, and I'm about no games. I'm about no games.
That's beautiful, man. Tony, thank you so much again for joining me here on the Sports Arena today, man. I look forward to seeing you. You already said you're going to come back and give me some in-depth analysis on these games as the weeks go on. So your phone going to be blowing up from your man, Eric Wilson. I'm going to get you back on here. We're going to keep talking about this because I need some inside information. I'm trying to get all of it as well. But thank you so much for your time. Hey, stay blessed. 2021 going to be a good year for you. I look forward to seeing you again. This is not the last, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard of this one, Miss Tony Johnson. Hey, I'm going to talk to y'all real soon. Everyone have a great day. Stay safe. Wear a mask. We'll talk soon. See ya.
All right. God bless. Thank you.